Hi everyone, this tutorial is going to be on how I sewed my bodysuit for my Totally Spies cosplay. I started with this pattern that I made myself. The tutorial will be in the description. And then I picked the pieces that had to be dark yellow, put them on my fabric, pinned them and cut them out. And I did the same for the light yellow pieces. Your needles will get sticky with these tape patterns, but you can use a little rubber and alcohol to get the stickiness off. Next, I put down the pattern pieces for my pants in the right order. I am using 2 layers of the light yellow to prevent it from being see-through and to get a little bit of a darker color. Make sure you pin everything in right sides together and then sew everything with a small zigzag stitch. I am using a walking foot and a new universal needle. Once I have the 2 leg pieces sewn, I put them right sides together and sew up the crotch area. And then I sew close the inside leg seam. Then it's time to try it on and take in seams if necessary. Next, because I wanted to be able to take out my shoes and put in flat shoes, I made a pattern for a sole to go underneath my shoe. If you don't want this, you can skip this step and just glue it to your shoe. I hand pasted it in to make sure the fit was right, and once I made sure it was, I just sewed it in with a straight stitch. Next, I cut the belt piece. Mine was about 6 centimeters, so I cut an 8 centimeter strip, as wide as my hips are. I cut up any excess pieces to make my edge straight, then sewed the middle back seam of the belt and then sewed it onto my bodysuit, all with a small zigzag stitch. Next, I did the same what I did for the pants, but for the top. So I put my pattern pieces right sides together, pin it, and sew it in place with a small zigzag. I'm just leaving the middle front open for my zipper. Next, I cut the pattern for my collar. I made a middle seam, but if you have enough fabric, you don't have to. And then I made 2 of these. I will put the tutorial that I use for my collar in the description box, because that's a lot clearer than mine. But what I did was put the 2 collar pieces right sides together and then pin the inside seam. Sew this close with the same zigzag stitch. Then I can fold my collar right side out. Next, I pin one of the sides onto the top part of my bodysuit. Once I know where the collar is gonna end, I pasted in my zipper to see if everything fits in the right place. My collar had a lot of seam allowance, so I trimmed it a bit shorter so it wouldn't get in the way. I will put a tutorial on how I put the zipper in the description box as well. Once I had the zipper in, I cut it a bit shorter. Make sure you do not open it until you sew your top piece to your bottom piece, because you will rip your zipper head off. But before I sewed my top piece on, I put a little bit of extra fabric in the middle of my belt. This will be for my retractable bungee belt in the end. Then I took a sleeve pattern that I had laying around and cut this out of my light yellow fabric. Because the fabric is really stretchy, my sleeve ended up being way too big, so I put it on really carefully, estimated how much I needed to take off, and then hand basted the new seam. Next, I put the sleeve into the armhole, pin it in place, hand basted it, and then tried it on so I could make any changes and then sewed it in. Next, I traced my hand for a glove. Again, I'm gonna put the tutorial that I used in the description box. Mine ended up being a bit too small, so I ended up adding about 1 millimeter to all the seams. and then I traced it all onto my fabric and sewed over the lines. This is a really easy way to make cloths, and you only end up having seams on the sides of your hands. Next, I cut it out pretty close to my stitching, and I made sure to clip in between my fingers to make it easier to lay flat. And then you can just fold it right side out and hem the top with a zigzag stitch. And then your glove is ready. And that also finishes the bodysuit, meaning that you're ready to fight crime and be an international super spy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see more pictures, you can check out my Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to see more videos, you can subscribe to my channel.